Great. Well, we're here again.
Yes.
I mean,
if you like it or not,
we're
here.
We're here.
Sorry.
It's some people will be like, these guys again. These guys. Now, welcome to the Soul Focus podcast. We're going to be looking at relationships again.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to take a slightly different angle today. So
Nice.
Buckle in. It's going to be a bit technical, but
Yeah.
we're going to try and navigate some interesting and ethical dilemmas.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
But
yeah. So the last few episodes we've been looking at what it means to have a deep, meaningful relationship, what it means to, what situations might you cut off a relationship, and there might be situations where that's appropriate. But today what we want to do is we want to investigate what does it mean to have a deep, meaningful relationship practically. So we've been describing it. Now we want to try and talk about how we put that into practice. I don't know if you want to touch on that at all, or think, describe your kind of thoughts on going from kind of theory to practice, in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm excited to actually try this out. I think we go through life just happening to make deep friendships, but it would be nice to actually intentionally invest in our friendships. So fleshing that out is going to be good.
Sweet. Cool. All right. Well, before we kind of go into the meat of what we want to talk about today, we want to talk a little bit about aspirations. And the reason we want to do that is because sometimes when we talk about doing things practically, we can get into a place where we end up beating ourselves up, right? We can end up saying, well, I'm not good enough for this, or I can't do this, or whatever it is. So I thought it might be interesting to just spend a bit of time talking about aspirations and why aspirations they exist, and how they can help us not to beat ourselves up.
Right. Yeah.
So in our case, we're suggesting we want to practice humility. And some people might be thinking, well, I could never be that, or I don't feel like I have the means to do that. And so I think aspirations can be a good way of doing that. First question then, I guess, is with regard to aspirations, have you ever felt like there's been something so far out of reach that it's just, you just feel like giving up, in that sense?
Okay. Schooling. I didn't think I'd get into uni, but I did.
And I guess with that then, do you feel like how did you do that in the end? Do you know what I mean? If you feel like you couldn't do that, I think, and yet you did.
Yeah, I just looked different to what I envisioned in the beginning. So we talked about this in season 1 a little bit. I thought I'd become a doctor, but I was like, that's not going to happen now. And then it just looked different. I just went and studied theology instead. That was, so I guess my aspirations changed a little bit.
We did talk about that in season 1, actually.
We did, yeah.
But you still had the aspiration to go to some sort, to uni in some form.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And one of the things that I think the same with myself actually, with getting into uni is a similar thing. You've got to establish a goal, but you've also got to appreciate where you are, and then you go on a journey to achieve that goal. And in order to achieve that goal, sometimes we don't appreciate where we are. I think that's where it can, we can kind of beat ourselves up. It's like we either ignore the way we are in the sense that maybe we need to study more, or maybe we need to, I don't know, get help from somebody, but we don't appreciate where we are right now,
right?
Or we don't have an appreciation of the vision which can change,
Yes.
like you say, because
Yeah.
maybe the vision needs to be slightly different and change
yeah.
a bit. But I just, like, did you ever feel discouraged through that process at all? Do you remember any feeling of, like you thought you were going to be a doctor and then you weren't? Was there any sense of?
Yeah, I think so. There was definitely relief as well, because it's not really what I wanted to do. Yeah, I think I fell in a compromise and just decided this is what I'm going to do to please my family.
Yeah.
And then when that didn't work out, it did feel a bit, but I also felt relief.
Do you ever feel like there's been times where don't feel like you need to share anything specific, but there have been times where you've beaten yourself up for things when you shouldn't have, or you know what I mean? It's weird because when you realize you shouldn't be beating yourself up, you're almost doing the same thing, but
beating yourself up
about beating yourself up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, have you ever felt that kind of overwhelming sense of I'm just not good enough, and you lose sight of the vision of that, the kind of teleological self, that aspiration to become who you're supposed to be?
Yeah, I think so. So I didn't actually finish my degree. Got a diploma instead. So I think at the end of that time, I think I did beat myself up quite a bit. And by the time I realized I shouldn't have, I realized I lost a lot of time, because I could have used that time to just buckle down and do the work in the context that I found myself in. But instead I was living in so much regret. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, similar. I know times at work where I've had those feelings of I could have been in a different job or be in a particular place in my career.
Right.
And I wasn't, and then I beat myself up for it because I felt like I wasn't good enough and wasn't clever enough, didn't seek after knowledge enough. All these enoughs.
Right.
Never enough. But yeah, and like today, do you find you're in a place where you can find peace, I guess, in the fact that you're progressing forward, you're moving forward?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a journey of self-awareness as well. Yeah. Being aware of what my strengths are, and where my calling actually lies, and working towards those things instead.
Yeah, and I think just as we go through this, there's an appreciation that with all that we talk about, to establish these things in our lives, like you were saying, how do I do this practically? It takes time. We're at A and we're trying to get to B, and there's a process. You don't just become B, because otherwise it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So there has to be a transformational process from getting from A to B. So yeah, I just want to encourage people to appreciate the journey, appreciate the journey as we talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
all right,
nice.
Shall we dive into
Let's dive into the swimming pool of stuff.
Great. All right, so we've discussed this a little bit, not in the podcast, but me and you.
Yeah.
We've discussed a potential beginnings of a system that might help us to do relationships and do them humbly.
Yeah.
Our suggestion is that it's super simple, but also super complicated.
At the same time.
It's a paradox.
Yeah.
And we're calling it the no-do cycle. It's a great name, isn't it?
No-do. I like it.
Yeah.
It sticks.
Yeah.
Sounds like do-do, so.
Do-do. The do-do, no-do, do. Yeah.
But it's not the do-do cycle.
It's actually the
no-do cycle.
with a K.
No-do, like to know someone.
To know someone.
Not to no.
Exactly.
Not to say
no.
No. The no-do cycle.
The
with a
no-do
K.
cycle. Exactly, with a K.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the no-do cycle? The no-do cycle is the suggestion that in everything we do, we seek to know another.
Mm.
And it's as simple as that. So our motive, our reason for doing stuff, whatever it is we're doing, is to know someone else.
Yeah.
That means to establish a connection, a relationship, to build that relationship. Clearly, it's inherently humble because you have to go outside of yourself to establish a relationship.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of relationships.
Yeah.
And so the suggestion is that in life, you're always knowing and you're always doing. The nature of life is that we're always doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But the reason we're doing is for knowing.
Right.
That's the way round we're suggesting that people do things. You know, you when you're doing things, you're considering, how is it that I would know this person? So, okay, what do you think about when you think of, let's say, you're hanging out with some friends, and you're using the no-do cycle.
Okay.
What do you think that kind of looks like?
Right. I guess the first thing is to do something would be to initiate plans to hang out, so that I could know them better.
Yeah.
So that's the doing, and then you get to know them, and then are you talking about the doing in that context of hanging out with someone?
I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. The doing to the making of plans, which is doing, is to know.
Right.
So it's already no-do because know is first.
No
is always the top priority. So to make plans is contributing to knowing.
To knowing, yeah. Right.
So, but then when you meet up, you're still doing and knowing and still doing and knowing, right?
Yeah. So the doing might look like asking specific questions, talking about particular things. Maybe that person's going through something, so you intentionally do by asking them or talking about it. I remember you guys did something once. I love this game called Zombicide.
Oh yeah.
So it's an incredible board game.
It's insane.
I love it.
It's insane.
It's so good.
It's also incredibly
long.
It's very long.
Yeah.
Very complex, but so much fun.
So much fun. And I remember, was it Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve or something? I can't remember.
Can't quite remember.
And I jokingly said, let's just play Zombicide because it's going to take like 3 hours. And and I think you guys were like, yeah, let's do it. And I was shocked that you'd be up for doing that. So that was something you guys were willing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing with this, and we might come on to this a little bit later, but of course, with the no-do cycle, our suggestion is that motive is key. Yeah. So you can hide motive. So maybe we were just doing it to, satisfy you.
True, maybe have some secret motives for knowing someone.
You might do, but not in that case. In that case, genuinely, we wanted to get to know you, and we had fun together and enjoyed playing the game, but at the same time we were getting to experience each other and chat and see what people would do in this scenario, laughing and
absolutely.
So,
there's a biblical example that comes to mind actually about the motivation thing. Samson and is it Delilah? Her motive was very wrong, but she was trying to get to know Samson as much as possible in order to destroy him.
That's a really good example. So I was going to use an example where, let's say you've got a burglar trying to steal from somebody's house. One of the things they could do is they could get to know the family or whoever's living there, get to know when they go on holiday, pretend to be they're I don't know, window washers. I don't know what.
Yeah, sure.
They pretend that they've got this ulterior motive or this pure motive to know the family, but actually, in order to know, they're doing for themselves, which is to steal.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm not completely kind of sold on this term, but it feels anti-relational.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're knowing somebody in order to do for yourselves. And so you could imagine how heartbroken you'd feel finding out that your house had been stolen from this person that has got to know you.
Yeah.
You know, it's the worst sort of feeling, I think, that we can experience as humans. That sort of, it's certainly soul destroying when that sort of thing happens.
Yeah.
With Samson Delilah, I'm absolutely sure that Samson eventually was like, yeah, this is not good.
Right.
You know, she's just using me. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, being used is awful. It's something that society, it finds abhorrent, really.
Would it be worth explaining Samson Delilah for people that don't know the story? Maybe? Yeah. So Samson is like a strong man. He's like Hulk before Hulk was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And he's this hero for the Jewish nation. Was he a judge?
I think he was.
Was a judge, or what they called a judge at the time. Delilah is from the camp of the Philistines, I believe, Israel's enemies, and so they kind of fall in love and whatever. And she's basically trying to find his weakness.
Yeah.
What is it? And so she kind of gets to know him, gets close to him in order to find out. And Samson lies to her a few times, and she gets upset every time he lies. And at some point he says, look, if you chop off my hair, oh yeah, he has long hair. If you chop off my hair, I get weak again. So she actually does that. She just cuts his hair off, completely deceives him and betrays him.
Yeah.
It's not good, is it? So I guess what we're trying to say is motive is important.
Yeah.
With the no-do cycle.
Absolutely. So, okay, another scenario. You're in a coffee shop. You're tapping away on your laptop.
Yep. Tap, tap, to tap, tap.
Tippity tap. And you see somebody outside that's being mugged. Do you go out and help that person, or do you protect your laptop that might be stolen by somebody else?
I'd like to think I'd go and help.
So,
depending on how many guys he's getting mugged by.
Yes, that's fair enough.
I'll just shout instead, hey, stop it.
Get away.
That's
away
wrong,
from
that is.
that person.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
You'd hope to help them.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. So I think there's an aspect of knowing here. There's an appreciation that things like laptops and coffee and all these things, they're sort of they can be used as a means to know others. But at the point in which they become more than knowing, they cease to have meaning. And so the going and helping that person who's being mugged is a meaningful act, and it's an establishment of connection with that person, because you're seeking to kind of know them, and in seeking to know them is that they would be relieved from that stress and that, do you see what I mean? All that experience that they're going through, which is not nice.
Yeah.
Your purpose is that you would relieve that, which is helping towards the expression of relationship and connection and knowing. Do you see what I mean? So all of these things, I think all of these things contribute towards knowing.
Yeah.
Morality and ethics, all of these things come under the no-do cycle. And this is why we said earlier that it's almost simple and complicated.
Right.
It's simple because it's, well, just make sure your motive is to know people.
Yeah.
And that's it. But then the complex bit is, well, what does it mean to know someone? Which is what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So
right.
what do you actually, what would you do in certain scenarios? And that's what we're looking at, isn't it? So have you ever felt like somebody's got to know you and you realize that they got to know you because of selfish desire or selfish gain or whatever?
Yeah. The example that comes to mind is a stranger wanted a lift, and in any other scenario I would have probably helped them. They seemed quite desperate, but I just couldn't give them a lift at that point. But before I said no, they were being very friendly and they were being really kind. And once they realized that I couldn't, they just became very brash and removed. And so their intention there was just to get a lift from me. There was nothing about knowing there. Yeah. Is that a silly example? I don't know. But yeah, that kind of goes to show a little bit of what you're talking about, I think.
I think so. There's an example, similar example that I recall, which is I was walking through town and a homeless person came up to me and asked for some money.
Right.
And I said to him, I'd be happy to go and buy you a sandwich. And he was all a similar thing. It was very friendly, very friendly. And as soon as I said that, he said, well, you don't trust me. You don't trust me with the money. And I said, look, I don't mind giving you the money, but I'm kind of willing to come with you and you can choose whatever kind of sandwich you want. I'm not kind of precious over that. Sort of thing, but he wouldn't accept the fact that I was buying it. He felt like, which is interesting because we do need to have trust with each other, but then also at the same time, the sort of seeking to know requires that two-way connection. So you've got to come together and find a way together, and I think that was where, similar to what you were saying. Once you're not useful anymore, then they break the connection. It proves that they weren't really seeking to know you. They were seeking that they were knowing you for their own gain. Yeah. And it felt a bit like that with this person. And I appreciate, I'm not trying to get at homeless people. And
sure.
In the slight, and I know that there are complex issues that have arisen to be in that position.
Yeah.
But it's an appreciation that the no-do cycle is very much about relationship. So it comes with that sort of sense of compromise and the appreciation of the other, that you're not always going to get what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, one of the things that maybe people might struggle with is that, well, are you saying that the no-do cycle, you always put other people first? And so are you saying that you should always neglect yourself? And that's not what we're saying. We're saying you should always seek to know, which establishes relationship, and relationship has to include yourself. So if you are degrading yourself in the sense you do not have the ability to maintain that relationship, then it's not a relationship anymore. Right. It's a one-sided thing. I think one of the things I put down here is that, so for example, people pleasing. People pleasing is a great example of this. The other person could be lapping up all your sort of gifts and everything that you do for them.
Yeah, and the pleasing behavior.
And that's not a relationship. That's just them gaining in you at your expense. So the seeking to know is that you both are in it for each other, which I think is hard because there's you've almost got to make a judgment as to whether this is whether this person is actually seeking to know you too, which I think is a difficult difficult one because you never really know,
Right.
which we've talked about before
Yeah.
in previous episodes.
Mm.
But I think people pleasing is a good example. I think we've raised this a few times, but I think when you people please, there's a danger that you're actually not seeking to know. You're still seeking for your own gain, potentially.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Are there times where having the no-do cycle would have helped? Like, if explicitly. So let's say the no-do cycle is you get into a habit of saying, how can I know this person in this situation? Is there times where actually you think, oh, you know what? I didn't seek to know that person. And if I had, this would have happened.
I think I told you this when we were talking about it. I just can't think of an example because I didn't try the no-do cycle to find out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. There must have been. Oh man, I can think of situations where pastorally, especially in Birmingham, our pastor was he was pastoral. He was really good at that, and so I remember him dealing with very difficult people, and his gentle approach just completely diffused the situation.
Yeah.
But in his shoes, I wouldn't have done what he did.
Right.
I probably would have matched their energy and got a little bit frustrated back as well. But actually, I think his motive was to know this person. Why are you feeling this way? What is going on behind this veil of frustration? So I can't think of a specific example, but there were many examples like that. Can you think of any?
Yeah, I think there's one particularly that comes to mind. It's very similar to a lot of the examples I give, but I know that when I started work, my first role in my when I came out of uni, I was very, very anxious. I was very nervous about starting the role, and there were a lot of senior developers around me that were brilliant, and well, essentially, I avoided a lot of people because I didn't want that feeling of inadequacy, right? And I think if I had gone in with the sense of I want to know these people, I would have got the development of my skills for free, right? So because the no-do cycle, it's all about knowing, and everything kind of flows from it. So your doing is to know. So I couldn't have ever put the development of my skills first. Otherwise, it's not the no-do cycle; it's the do-know cycle.
Right. Yeah.
So I can't put that first anyway. But interestingly, I suspect that my anxiety would have dissipated because I would have sought to know those guys and have fun with them, etc. And I would have felt much more comfortable to come to them with questions, even if I felt a bit silly or whatever it was, or gave them. So we have like pull requests, which is where you review code. I would have raised them earlier and got advice on my code. So weirdly, and I think this is true of the no-do cycle just entirely, is that when you seek to know someone, you get all these benefits for free. It reminds me, and I feel like it's synonymous with Jesus' words when he says, seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be given unto you. When you seek to know, you get a load of this stuff for free. You don't feel anxious. You don't feel... I don't know. I just feel like you start. Yeah, I just want to know you. I'm not in it for some secret agenda.
Yeah.
And you develop together, and you have this kind of that. From my work perspective, there's a shared cognitive synergy that helps you to develop your ability to problem solve. And that just is a byproduct. It's just a byproduct of relationship.
Right.
Well, it's interesting, like me and you.
Right.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like as we've gotten to know each other, like I feel like we are understanding things way more than we did. I think 2 years back, and just some of the stuff that we were discussing. We just didn't really didn't quite have a grasp of things, and now we're starting to come to some sort of understanding of some of these kind of mysteries that that we've been doing together. Do you know what I mean? It's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's just really cool. All right, so one of the concerns with the no-do cycle is that you can hide your true motives.
Yeah, we touched on this a little bit.
Yeah, touched on this. So I guess one of the questions is how can you tell when like in your example, and my example, you kind of could tell because as soon as they didn't give you what you didn't give them what you wanted, it just broke down.
Sure,
but that's not always the case.
No. Yeah.
So
it's hard. Like a deeper example would be like family members who, as soon as you're not of any use to them, they would act differently. I'm sure some people listening can relate with that. Yeah. It's hard in those situations to know. Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that...
Is there a way to decipher people's true motives? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Should we be? Is that knowing?
Because trust, I think in a relationship, trust is a huge part of it, and trust, by its very definition, means you're going in blind, right? So if you could know everything, I don't think there's no point for trust then.
Yeah, maybe it's about trusting that if their motives aren't true, that it would be revealed.
Right, maybe. Yeah.
Life has a way, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it's hard to know.
Yeah.
I don't think you truly know everyone's motives.
No, I think you're right.
That is a little bit frightening.
It is. It is a bit. It makes it harder. I think it makes the no-do cycle. You've got to step out in faith. Yeah.
But I think the way you find out someone's true motives is by experiencing life with them. Yeah. So do they have a track record of proving themselves to be trustworthy?
Yeah. I think there's definitely an appreciation that if somebody, we've talked about this before, but if somebody that you're getting to know is not getting to know you and certainly is kind of destroying the relationship in some shape or form, there is a point where you need to say, I need to back away from this. Yeah. This is not helping me. And actually, I think that is knowing. I think that is seeking to know because you appreciate what relationship is, and this isn't it.
Right.
So I still think that is... See, it's a bit of a strange one because you think, well, surely you should always continue a relationship. But no, this is about... A relationship has to be two-way. Yes. And there is a point where you've got to... When the signs are there, the signs and the signals appear. That's the time, this is not good for me. You need to step back and say, no, enough's enough. But in the appreciation of knowing, so you're still knowing that person, but I cannot sustain this relationship. I cannot be in it, and therefore I need to break away. Yeah. It's a bit of a strange one. It doesn't feel quite right, but I think it's still knowing.
Yes.
Maybe we can explore this in future episodes a little bit, but I still feel like it's still knowing someone, even if you feel like you're breaking away. So Jesus talked about knowing everywhere, and one of his most famous speeches, or one of his most famous prayers, is that he explained what eternal life was. And he said that this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom he has sent. And there's that word know, So to me, what I see is that the expression of God, the very expression of God, to know God and therefore express God, is to know others, because that's his very being. His very being is relationship. I think we see that in the Trinity.
Yeah.
We see that in the relationship between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
So the very foundation of God himself is relationship.
Mm.
And so I think that there is an intrinsic, and we'll come on to this a little bit when we talk about deontology, but there's an intrinsic and innate desire to know people.
Mm.
So that is where this motive, when we talk about the motive is the expression to know God and then know others.
Right.
And I think that's where we find this peace and this euphoric feeling of knowing others, when you have that really deep, meaningful friendship and you have that, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's the very expression of God, I think. I don't know, what you think.
Yeah,
about
absolutely. Yeah. He wants to know us, and he asks us to know him. I think there's a few things, I think, in the Bible that we are called to do from birth. And one of them is, I think, to worship God, and the other is to know him and to love him. It is just in his nature to know us.
Yeah, absolutely. This feels like where we find the connection between humility and relationship, because Jesus himself coming down to lay himself down for us in humility, so that we could know him and know each other in a greater way. There's humility, and what comes of it? Relationship. So there's your kind of connection from humility to relationship.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the greatest expression of that connection between the two. I think it's quite a beautiful thing. Really. Yeah. So, all right. So we've gone through the no-do cycle.
Yes.
One little caveat before we carry on. I think with any kind of system, I think all systems are reductive. That's my feeling. I think all systems are reductive. There's always extra complications. Relationships are complex.
Sure.
There's always nuances. Where this comes into its own is in practice, trying it out. How does this work? And you can develop that as you go.
Yeah. This at least gives us a language and a base to start developing deeper friendships, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. It's there to help. It's not to lord over you in some fashion.
Yeah.
Not that people might be thinking that, but
sure, yeah.
Just that we're not proposing this as the system by which we should, there are other bits to this that's is probably going to evolve as we just go through scripture, as we go through life, et cetera. So we don't want to be reductive is the point. There's more to it than this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on that point, we wanted to just compare it to a very familiar ethical system, deontology. So
what's that?
Yes, good question. What is deontology? So Immanuel Kant, he was a philosopher of a particular century that I've completely forgotten. German philosopher. Now, he came up with the categorical imperative. The main principle is act on that maxim, through which you can, at the same time, will that it should become a universal law.
I completely understand.
It's completely clear, isn't it?
Let's move on.
Don't even need to explain anything else.
What is he talking about?
Yes. Okay. So, it's loosely based on Jesus' words. So, the golden rule. Most people will have heard of the golden rule, which is do unto others as you'd have it done unto you.
Right, okay.
So the categorical imperative, there's kind of two aspects to it. There's one aspect which is saying, if there is something that you would not allow it to happen to you, then it would become universal. So would you steal from me, right?
Would I take your things?
Would you take my things?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm going to take that plant.
You're going to take the plant? You can't take the plant.
I'm going to take it. I want it. It's beautiful. And
that's the one thing I wanted to keep.
My room needs a splash of green. So I'm going to take it.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
But would you be happy if other people could take your plants?
No.
Right.
Here it comes. Right.
Raise it. We'll raise it up.
So then that becomes a law. Don't
Becomes a law.
steal things. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because I wouldn't like it if someone stole something from me.
No.
Okay.
Now, what follows from that is then that we wouldn't use people as a mere means.
Okay.
So that people would become an end, which kind of follows in the sense that if you wouldn't want to be used as a mere means, then it follows that everybody else shouldn't be used as a means. So everybody should be an end. So we can see there's a bit of similarity here between deontology and the no-do cycle, because we want to know people and therefore establishing a relationship is the first priority.
Yeah.
And therefore they should be an end. Although what we're saying is that you establish a connection. So there's something else here. There's connection, there's relationship, rather than purely just universal law.
Yeah.
The other thing that's very crucial in deontology is that you do things out of a sense of duty. So we establish universal law from reason. This is Immanuel Kant saying these things. My caveat here, by the way, is that I'm not a philosopher, so I don't know the ins and outs of his theory, so I might be butchering it. So I apologize if I am to anybody who is screaming at me. But I'm trying to at least do a little bit of comparison between the two. So deontology is doing out of duty, and these universal laws are established, and you've got to uphold them, and that's because it's your reasonable thing to do. Right?
Sure.
Maybe we could have a look at some examples. Because although deontology, it kind of makes sense, the golden rule, and there are some situations where it doesn't seem to quite fit. So for everybody else, Josh is engaged to Hannah.
Yes, I am.
And you're getting married soon.
And we're getting married soon.
Now, question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say Hannah is out in town. Right? You're at home.
Yep.
A gunman comes to your house and says, "Tell me where Hannah is. I'm going to go and kill her."
Right. Yeah,
okay. Do you tell the gunman where Hannah is, or do you lie about it?
I'm going to lie about it.
Right.
Yes.
But lying is bad. It's a universal law.
Yeah, but killing is bad, and I don't want Hannah to die.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm just exploring deontology versus the no-do cycle. So what we've got is, when we've got a rigid law, there's obviously situations that it just doesn't quite feel like it's right.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work in certain situations, and this is one of those scenarios.
Yeah. Okay.
You had a really good example from the Bible.
Yeah. So in Exodus, we see the Israelites have migrated to Egypt, and there's a really kind Pharaoh, but the kind Pharaoh dies, this king, and there's a really evil Pharaoh that comes up, and he basically is like, what are all these people doing here? Let's use them as slaves. So they get thrown into slavery, and he wants to kill all the male children that are born for the Israelites,
I think
or something. And so he instructs the midwives, the Egyptian midwives, who are going to deliver these babies, to basically kill the babies.
Yeah.
Now the midwives, the Bible says something like the midwives feared God, and so they didn't do that. Instead, what they did was lie to Pharaoh and say, "Mate, Jewish women are just built different. By the time we got there, they'd already delivered the baby, and so we something like that. I can't remember. Should I just read it?
Yeah, do you want to read it? Yeah.
Yeah, then Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, gave this order to the Hebrew midwives. Oh, the Hebrew midwives, yeah. When you help the Hebrew women as they give birth, watch as they deliver. If the baby is a boy, kill him. If it is a girl, let her live. It's brutal, isn't it? But because the midwives feared God, they refused to obey the king's orders. They allowed the boys to live too. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives. Why have you done this? He demanded, why have you allowed the boys to live? The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, the midwives replied. They are more vigorous and have their babies so quickly that we cannot get there in time. So God was good to the midwives, and the Israelites continued to multiply, growing more and more powerful. They clearly lied, right? But it says God was pleased with them. It seems like they did something very good by letting these children live.
Yeah.
But they use lying as a means to do that.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is
just
lying saves lives.
Lying is
right?
great.
Lie all the time.
Lie all the time. No, we're absolutely not saying that.
Saying that. But it is interesting.
It is interesting.
So, yeah, it's a lot more complex than... It's not as black and white morality.
Yes, exactly. I think one thing that occurs to me, I think what it seems to me is that knowing people and the development of relationship, and in this case, you know, the appreciation of what those Israelite babies growing up and having relationships with their mothers and whatnot is more. It means more than the law. So there's like this is greater. It is greater to know.
Yeah.
It is greater to know, but the law is super important.
Yes.
You know, deontology is super important.
Yeah.
It's a really good ethical system, but it is greater to know.
Yeah.
And therefore, deontology, the golden rule, the law, if it's contributing to knowing, then it's great. And that's what a lot of the time it does. Most of the time, lying is you absolutely shouldn't lie.
Shouldn't lie. Yeah.
It's but if it's not contributing to knowing, to relationship, then maybe we need to rethink that. Don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
We'll leave that with people just to ponder. But I want us to look at a different example. So let's say a married couple, or a couple doesn't need to be married, and they're going through kind of financial difficulties, let's say. And the husband receives an offer for a lucrative but morally questionable business partnership. Okay? It would require deception and potentially the harming of other people. Okay? So that's the situation. But they're going through hardship financially.
Yeah.
And the wife is quite, is a deontologist. Is that right? Feels right. Is very, holds to universal law, has a sense of duty to law, and applies these principles and says, we cannot do this. We've got to be honest. We've got to have integrity. Okay? The strength of deontology is that it's very clear, which is what we said. It's black and white.
Black and
we
white.
know what to do in this situation, at least in most cases. But yeah, there's very clear we should not do this because we wouldn't want it to be done to ourselves. So if the couple were acting out of duty, they would say no without any wavering concern. So... and I was thinking this is maybe a bit similar to the way Jesus responded to the devil tempting him in the desert. It's very absolute, But, interestingly, what deontology doesn't do, what it doesn't do is it doesn't say anything about how you should talk to the other person. So the wife, there's no reason for the wife to shout at the husband if the husband doesn't agree. There's no reason why the wife could just be like, yeah, you're being stupid. Come on, we need to do this. There's no, do you see what I mean? There's nothing that says that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, there might be an aspect, you might argue that, well, you wouldn't want that to be done to yourself in that respect. But really it's about the action in which they would take, the highest action, which is to not do that thing. But it doesn't really talk about the manner in which you would do something. Whereas the no-do cycle, what we're doing here is we're saying that in order to know the person, you're trying to establish a relationship. And part of that is that you are considerate about the way that you would speak to that person. So when you say to that person, "Oh, look, I don't think this is a good idea," you're compassionate, you're loving, you're trying to develop that relationship through that situation. It goes beyond the ethical stuff.
Yeah.
The ethical stuff is important because because harming others is not knowing.
Right.
It's
Of course,
obviously. So clearly, we're still saying under the no-do cycle that you wouldn't take that deal. But the manner in which you speak to your partner is so important because it's developing relationship, and that's part of the doing. So when you're saying to yourself in that situation, "I want to know that person," you're appreciating how you say that to them. How do you present yourself? You might not even say anything to them. Originally, you might just let them, think about it and go on a journey with them. And you know what I mean? It's much more about that than the moral side.
Yeah.
So I wondered whether, again, I mean, either you've had an experience of where you felt, there was something moral and somebody was compassionate to you, or the opposite, where you felt like they were very harsh towards you. And even though it wasn't right what you were doing, but they were still harsh. You didn't feel like they were seeking to know you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever felt either of those scenarios?
I remember when I was an older teenager, I was at this kind of worship night thing that was happening, and there was a guitar on one of the pews with a capo on it. I was like, that looks like a nice guitar. And I was like, I should probably not touch this guitar. It's not mine. But I just wanted to twiddle on it a little bit. It just looked so inviting. So I picked it up, started to play. And the owner of the guitar, I presume, just walked in. He's probably in his mid-30s. He's like, "What are you doing? Put the guitar down. This is not your guitar." And look, on face value, I think he's totally right. I shouldn't have picked it up. It was not my guitar. It was his guitar. So ethically, I think he was right. But the way he went about it was so unhelpful. I didn't like him. By the end of that, he probably didn't like me either. But there is a different way of doing that, isn't there?
Yeah.
With the no-do cycle, I wonder if he could have approached me with a little bit of grace, saying, "Oh, you're right there. That's my guitar, by the way. What are you playing?" And then he could have used that opportunity to get to know me a bit more, and even maybe teach me a few chords instead of yelling at me like a maniac. But he was right. I shouldn't have touched his guitar. Yeah.
That's the crux of this, isn't it? There's an appreciation of the ethical.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be deontological, but there's an appreciation of ethics. There's an appreciation of, you probably shouldn't have done that. But knowing is greater.
Yeah.
And how can we seek to know people?
Yeah.
Acting with a bit of grace, acting with a bit of forgiveness.
Yeah.
This is a different way of looking at things, isn't it?
Absolutely. Have you seen The Good Place?
Yes, I have. Yes. Yeah. Great show.
Chidi uses that Immanuel Kant as
yes, he does.
A guy, and he goes through this thing, doesn't he? Spoiler alert, where he just does not like lying.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah. He just can't lie, but for the sake of this woman, he's teaching her ethics, and so ends up lying for her. Yeah. To teach her. Yeah. This is I can't believe we didn't think. I know,
because I think in the show, Chidi his journey is to let go of the
control,
absolute ethical systems, and
it is about
develop relationships
and knowing people. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There you go.
Do you have any examples?
I think there was times as a kid where I kind of stay up late and mess around with my brother, and I remember being told off by certain people, like at camps and things, and feeling like, you just feel like it was over and above what was necessary,
Right.
and could have been met with a bit more grace.
Mm.
The thing is I'm thinking as well, there were times where I've also got angry at people about things that were just not warranted at all.
Okay.
And I didn't seek to know them.
Mm.
I remember, I mean, I won't go into loads of detail, but I remember me and my brother-in-law, when we were a lot younger, we argued over some theological stuff, which seems ridiculous right now, looking back. And I just didn't seek to know him. I didn't seek to know him at all. And I hurt people through it really unnecessarily. And it was all based on pride, and whether I was right or not, it really didn't matter.
Right.
You know, and thankfully I realized that, and, you know, our relationship grew. But I've seen it firsthand where not doing this has really broken down relationships, and I've hurt people through it. It's tricky.
Setting aside pride is a huge task, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. But yeah, this is why we're talking about humility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're ending it on a bit of a heavier note.
Yeah.
But having said that,
I feel hopeful though.
Yeah, I do as well. And I think our encouragement for this week is that when you're doing things, just think, how can I know this person?
Yeah.
What can I do to know this person? I mean, is there anything you want to add to that?
Absolutely, yeah. Especially in difficult situations.
Yeah.
It's easy to know someone when things are light and breezy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you're faced with a challenge, that's going to be hard to do, but maybe we can think about, how can I use this situation to know this person rather than pull away from them or completely destroy them back, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe there's something deeper going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great. Well, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
And till next time.
See you then.
See ya.
Bye.